Welcome to the show. Welcome to my channel. Welcome to my platform. I am so excited to be here. We are talking about institutional engagement and accountability, guys. This is the IXO Show, Integrated Execution Office. I am talking about this because I've been thinking about this, guys, and I want you to jump in on this. I am not here to beg for meetings from these institutions. I am here because I know institutions need me. All right. And I know because I've sat in the rooms with them, I've been on the other side of the table. I've been on both sides of the table. And I know what's missing. And I've built the model to fix it. It's the IXO model. And this is the Integrated Execution Office that we are going to be using as a bridge between the community that they either inhabit or serve and the credibility that they want with them and the execution that they can't figure out. Some may not get it right away, but the ones who do will see that I am the future of institutional stewardship. So we are going to be talking about where accountability meets execution. It's so important for us to engage with these institutions. When you see how much these institutions have in the way of resources and assets and cash and mission and voice, we have to take notice. We have a nonprofit organization ourselves, and it is called Bridge to Life. We are excited about that, but we also need to engage with these institutions so that we can bring some of these resources to our own community, guys. If we're not engaging with the institutions, ask yourself this: who do you know that engages with an institution? If you don't know anyone engaged with an institution, I wonder how you get money for the things and programs that you need. I would love to hear. That's why we need our chat, guys. Jump into this discussion. Jump into what we are talking about because we need to understand, how do you get money? Yes, the government is one way. Having connections into your politicians is one way you can directly get money. But how do you think the politicians can give you money? They have to give it to an organization. Now, sure, everyone has their community organization, but they have way more money than that community organization can handle and process. They usually have to give it to some level of a nonprofit organization, a 501c3 type organization. But if we aren't engaged with those institutions, we haven't created any of them on our own, then how do we expect to truly engage with our society, our government, our institutions, and then the people who desperately need their services, guys? I've been on both sides. I've sat on boards of grant making institutions, of educational institutions. I've worked with boards as a chief investment officer. I've worked with them as their investment advisor. So I've seen things from a lot of different perspectives, and I want you to understand how important it is for real-time engagement with institutions, with universities, with nonprofits, with corporations and their corresponding foundations, with municipalities and other sponsors and donors. We have to engage. It's very important that we understand where their resources are going, where their access is, where it lies, and we have to continue to understand who inhabits the halls of power inside of these organizations. All right. So we are operating from so many different perspectives. We are interested in building a team. I'm going to be building a team over the next 2 years to really, really meet the challenges of the 21st century and the way BirdBrand intends to do that. Of course, right now we have BirdBrand Enterprises. We have Bird Financial Group. We have Bridge to Life Foundation, and a number of different organizations that we are going to be talking about. But I want you to somehow get involved. Bird Financial Group, which is a registered investment advisor, and like I said, Bridge to Life Foundation, which is a 501c3 organization. So, guys, get involved on the institutional action. I grew up in the institutional space, at least when I was a professional as an adult. I didn't grow up in the institutional space as a kid. I didn't even know what an institution was. And now I work with them. I understand them more and the average person and how important they are in our body, in our politic, in our resource, in our economic system. All right. So, but yeah, man, it's so much to discuss on this show, right? In 2010, I came up with this show because I thought about my career and I said, listen, when I was in the Outsourced Chief Investment Officer model, the OCIO model, that's how I came up with this IXO model. It was brand new, just like IXO. Most institutions didn't understand it, and when they were introduced to it, many resisted it because they just didn't know what it was. They didn't want to engage. But as the research came out more and more and understanding more and more about the institution and about the limitations and about the liability and the fiduciary responsibility that is on you as a board member, as a committee, investment committee member, as the institutions didn't understand it and resisted it, as I traveled the country from Houston to Lexington to Tulsa, talking about why it worked and why it should be implemented, it felt hard at the time because people weren't willing to change. And I remembered thinking, will this ever take off? This is such the right move, the right thing to do. But less than 10 years later, the OCIO model became the industry standard. Now every institution recognizes the importance of outsourcing capital stewardship, and it is normal and expected, and most times even necessary when you think about how a board works, first of all. And that is how I feel about the IXO model. Institutions don't quite know what to make of it yet, but we're going to be introducing it to them. And I would say, just like the OCIO solved the gap in capital management, the IXO model solves the gap in execution management. So listen, guys, when I say IXO is the future, I don't say it lightly. I've been in this cycle before. I've lived it. I know where this is going, and the industry standard is going to have people to help you execute as an institution. Because right now, I wonder who helps institutions execute. I don't know. That's the problem with institutions. They aren't real people. And they don't talk to real people. You know, so this is what part of the show is about. You know, it's about a way we interact with institutions. That's why this show is the institutional engagement show. I want to change the way we interact with institutions. But right now there's a disconnect. Communities don't even know who sits inside of the institutions. You know, that is the main problem. I was doing some prospecting on Thursday or Friday, and I was reading through the names of the people who are on the Villanova University Board of Trustees. Now, I live in the community. I've been in the community, not only in the Philadelphia community forever, in the investment community forever, in the institutional community for my career. I mean, these are basically as long as you possibly can be, right? And now I live in Villanova. The point is, I don't know any of these names. Let's read them. Let's see if you know these names. These are the people that control Villanova University, all right? The largest university in Delaware County, the largest university outside of University of Penn, outside of Philadelphia in the state, I would say definitely in the Philadelphia area, the largest university outside of Philadelphia, and you only have Temple and Penn to compete with. Very big university, won the national championship twice in the last 10 years. I would say you should know some of these names, right? Elizabeth Mazzio. I don't know her, okay? Tom Quinlan. I'm sure I've heard of a Tom Quinlan before, but I don't know him either. George W. Coleman. Common name, but Still doesn't ring a bell. Joe Delaney, another common name, but I looked him up. I didn't know him. Susan D. Loretto, another person we don't know. We have to learn who these people are. Who are these people that are running the institutions that are in your community? We have to find out who they are. Christine Dorfler. Now, clearly these people are of note. They've been asked to join the board of trustees at Villanova, but I don't know them. Carol Lynn Everson, Enrico Gagliotti, Christopher Geesens. None of these people ring a bell. They control one of the most powerful institutions in our country. Thomas J. Holt, as if we knew the Thomas Holt. Christopher Hizzy, Michael Kazanjian, Christina Larson Kelly, by the way, if you were confused with the other Christina Kelly. Michael Corey, Richard Kreider, Christopher McGuire, Alfonso Martinez Font Jr., Arthur Metzler, Bob Moran, Daniel Odia Jr., Ann Roby, Diane Rowan, Saran Sahakian, Eric Scanlon. Guys, we have to get to know these people. Who are these people? Diane Rowan, Suzanne Ward, Catherine Waters, David Wilkes, Darla Wolf. I really want to know who these people are, guys. And we're going to find out. We're going to be calling them. We want to meet with them. We need to understand who are they? How can we connect? We need an informational session. And we need a line of communication that is open to us, to people that we just want to be able to connect. And if you can't connect with the institutions in your community, then I would say you need more people on the board who know the people that are in your community. At some level, that's what we have to be thinking about. So that's what I wanted to talk about today as far as the show was going, and as far as where we're headed with this. But yeah, guys, we're talking about so much. Being a bridging that gap to the community with those people that we just mentioned. I don't know them. All right. Asking, why is labor not on the balance sheet? Workers are treated as expenses, not assets. We have to change that thought process. We're not treated as friends. We're treated as rodents, as pests. That's what you treat expenses like, trying to cut them and eliminate them. And with institutions enjoying tax-exempt status from, in perpetuity, they live forever, while families live paycheck to paycheck. Who gets in the room to talk to these institutions? Do you know? I've been in these rooms to talk to these institutions. It's not easy to get there. It is not easy. And one of the ways to get there is to know some of the people on the board. And in order to know some of the people on the board, they have to be members of your community, or members of people who are in your circle, or members of people that want to talk to you. We're going to be testing it out right here on this air, because guess what? I'm going to show you and prove to you. We're at least going to prove it. I don't have the answer. That's what the proof is for, guys. But guess what? If the people who are on these boards are unwilling to talk to me, what's the answer to that question? We already know. If the people who are on these boards are unwilling to talk to me and build a relationship with me, connect with me, then that means that we don't have access to the institution, right? That's what the accountability is about. The accountability is about, do we have access? If we do have access, they'll take my call. They'll call me back. They'll have a meeting with me. But if we don't have access, I'm going to get the gatekeeper action. I'm not going to be able to talk to Elizabeth Mazzio, right? I won't be able to reach her. So we're going to be talking about that. And because we really do need to think about the access gap and what it reveals. What does the access gap reveal? Is that power equals access. We are powerless if we can't get the people that sit on the board at Villanova to call us back. Institutions operate as if they're community anchors, but we can't reach them. This is the accountability tour, the engagement tour, but the accountability tour. We're going to be talking about a number of different things, guys. The real divide isn't money. That's what we have to remember. We're not after money. We're after access. Who do you know? Who will take your call? That's the key. You can have all the money in the world and can't get someone to take your call. You don't have any power. You just have money to go to the corner store and trick out and ball out. That's what I mean by institutional scaffolding for wealth and money and things. That's where power lives. If you can't get someone down the city hall to take your call, if you can't get someone at the Philadelphia Foundation to take your call, if you can't get someone at the University of Pennsylvania or Villanova University or Temple to take your call, then what do you have, guys? And that's what that's what I'm doing this show for. All right? Because this show is a broader mission. I want to educate you on what institutions even are. What are they? You don't even know half of the institutions that exist right in your zip code. If I told you right now that you had to find 15 private foundations, how would you do that? How would you do that? And you'd be surprised at how much money they have, how many resources they hold and access and own, and who they give them to, right? We think about needs in our community. How do you think needs are getting met? In your community and any community, someone's helping meet those needs. If you're not making your voice known, if you're not raising your hand and saying we need money for recidivism diversion programs, then you're not going to get any of it. And that's what we are doing. That's what we're doing right now, right here. We want to make it so that you can learn too about institutions and about, where we're going with this, right? What we're talking about. Most people don't know about what I'm talking about. They don't know these things even exist. They don't even know institutions are here. They wouldn't even know what an institution was. They would say, the first thing that comes to my mind, when you say institution is like a mental hospital. They don't know what institution truly means and how we can use it in a professional, corporate sense, right? But they control billions of dollars and shape your community every single day with policy, with resources, with intervention, as a safe haven, as a quasi government and governmental entity, right? And that's why education isn't just a nice to have; it's part of the bridge. If you don't know what an endowment is, you won't ask Villanova why their adjunct faculty has poverty wages. If you don't know what a donor advised fund is, you won't realize why so much charitable wealth never reaches your neighborhood, because we don't know to call and ask. I'm serious, guys. There is so much money out there to help your neighborhood and your community, if you would simply ask. And what does asking mean? You can't call up as yourself and say, "Hi, I'm Don Bird. I'd love for you to give some money to me." It doesn't work like that. While they want to do good, they want to keep track and keep a record of doing good. And they want to benefit. So the benefit is tax deduction. And the record is a solidified, legitimate organization, corporation, a business that can receive that money. And that's what you need to be able to do and learn so that we can have and get some of the money in our community that we desperately need. Book bags, back to school, Thanksgiving, food drives, parties, block parties. A nonprofit organization will be able to solicit those funds, gain access to those resources, and then be able to put on the production that is necessary or have the funds to put on the production um, in order to have a good time with your kids in the summer. So, but yeah, if you don't know what a foundation is, you certainly don't know to form one, and you surely don't know where to look for one, and you won't understand why they have power in your community. And it's everywhere: politics, education, and healthcare. Guys, listen, I feel like I'm an interpreter, and I want you to watch this show. You will get the message. We are delivering the message, guys. All right. My community roots run deep. I am from Southwest Philadelphia. I'm the executive director of the Grassroots Family Association since 2005. We just started a new nonprofit, Bridge to Life Foundation, and I am the founder and CEO of BirdBrand Enterprises and Bird Financial Group. Guys, we are doing a lot. I want you to get on the train. I want you to join us and follow us. Learn about what we're doing, how it impacts you, your future, your community. I spent my career working with institutions, endowments, foundations, other large institutions, and other family groups. I actually know how these things work, and I want you to follow me as I follow the money and follow the influence, guys. So I want to be able to translate to you so you can see the invisible wealth that shapes your life. You wouldn't even realize how much money some of these institutions are sitting on right in your zip code. It's true. All right. So that's the thing, guys. Um, and that's why it matters, because they get to invest into perpetuity and we live paycheck to paycheck. All right. So what I want to do with this show is make you accountable, make the institutions accountable, introduce ourselves to the institutions, let you know what an institution is and how you can not only work with them, but work with me, and position the IXO as a bridge to translate between the two worlds. That's what we're talking about. And I want you to think about that. We're going to be calling these institutions live on the show when the show gets underway, guys. All right. Because we're going to be building bridges here, guys. Bridges between the institution and the community, between execution and intention, between capital and labor, between the institutional narrative and what is actually happening on the ground. All right, guys. Listen, I'm excited about this show. I want to keep this show going. One of the things I want to talk about is we're going to be having a question and answer show right after this show on the weekdays. And I haven't set it up yet, but I will be. And I want you to get involved. All right, guys. But this institutional engagement accountability show, guys, this show is up and running. I am excited about it. Let me know what you think, guys. I've been doing this show kind of in a vacuum. I know I can't see you. And one, because I'm the one on TV, and I actually don't see any comments. So I'm just talking, and you guys are just watching when you get around to it. But leave some comments so I can start the conversation, so I can see what you guys are talking about. What do you think of the show? Let me know, and we'll get to incorporating your feedback. But for now, guys, I'm Don Bird. I'm your host of the Institutional Engagement Accountability Tour, the IXO Show, guys. I am going to be signing off today on a beautiful Wednesday, September 17th, 2025. We got a lot going on, guys. Stay tuned. Stay tuned with me. Follow the show. Like, comment, subscribe. Hit that notification bell so you know when we're live and when we drop a new video. It's important to hit that notification bell because you will get a notification when we are live. I don't always know exactly when we are going to be able to hit that button, but we are getting on here every day. I want to see you there.